Something happened to you last night that has never occurred in the history of souls walking this earth. While you were sleeping, while the world was silent and unaware, a seal was broken open in the heavenly realm, specifically over your name, not just any seal. The kind that only breaks when a soul has passed through fire without becoming the fire. The kind that signals, this one is ready. Your chest may feel heavier today. Your spirit may feel louder. That is not anxiety. That is activation. Something impossibly powerful just happened to you, Doc, in thousands of years of spiritual history, across every civilization, every religion, every sacred text ever written. There has never been a moment quite like this. Most souls take dozens of lifetimes to reach the level of restraint you have demonstrated in a single one. The ancient records, the ones kept not in libraries but in light, show a pattern. Souls either break under pressure or become bitter from it. You did neither. You remained. That is cosmically impossible by ordinary standards. Heaven had to pause its regular order just to witness what you chose to do with your pain, Dot. Think about a decision you made recently, one where you could have lied, retaliated, or simply walked away from what was right. You remember it. That moment where the easier path was right in front of you, and you chose the harder, cleaner one instead. Nobody applauded you. Nobody even noticed. But that single decision sent a shockwave through dimensions you cannot see with human eyes. It confirmed something the universe had been waiting to verify about you for a very long time. Your moral choices are not private. They are being read like scripture by forces far greater than any opinion held about you here. You need to understand something uncomfortable and also sacred at the same time. You have not been walking through this season alone or unobserved. Both darkness and divinity have had their eyes fixed on you for very different reasons. The dark watched, waiting for you to collapse, to compromise, to finally let bitterness win. The divine watched, knowing you would not. Every time you were falsely accused and stayed silent, something was recorded. Every time your name was dragged and you kept building anyway, it was witnessed. You have been under the most intense spiritual surveillance of your entire existence. There were moments that would have destroyed a lesser soul. The season where people you trusted rewrote the story of who you are and passed it around like it was truth. The room where your name was spoken without your presence to defend it. The opportunity that disappeared because someone else's version of you arrived before you did. And yet you kept your word. You kept showing up. You kept choosing not to become what they accused you of being. You passed tests that were never announced, never explained, and never rewarded in the moment. But every single one was recorded permanently, Dot, in the higher courts of the universe, where souls are evaluated not by success, but by substance. A classification was recently made about you. The word they use does not translate perfectly into human language, but the closest meaning is this: dangerous to deception. Souls like you are rare because you cannot be fully corrupted. You bend but do not break. You bleed but do not betray. This makes you a threat to every false system, every manipulative structure, every narrative built on lies. Higher beings do not fear many things, but they deeply respect a soul that integrity could not be purchased out of. Dot. There is a moment described across spiritual traditions, the moment when God himself turns his full attention toward a single soul on earth, not because they performed a miracle, not because they built an empire, but because in a world drowning in compromise, they chose to remain clean. That moment happened for you. Archangels who govern justice stood as witnesses. The ones assigned to reputation and restoration were called forward. What was spoken over your name in that heavenly courtroom was not a prayer. It was a verdict. And verdicts from that realm do not get appealed. They get executed. With the full weight of divine authority, a decree was released over your life. Not quietly, not privately, but with the kind of cosmic force that rearranges circumstances. The decree stated simply that what was taken through lies would be returned through truth. What was damaged through misunderstanding would be rebuilt with greater clarity. What was stolen through betrayal would be replaced with something no one can take this time. The universe does not always move fast, but when it moves on behalf of a soul like yours, it moves completely. Your true identity is no longer dormant. It has been officially activated. You are not who they said you were. You are not the diminished version that gossip constructed, or the limited edition that rejection tried to convince you of. You are an ancient soul, one that has carried the frequency of truth across more lifetimes than your mind can currently access. You were placed in this specific era because this era needed someone who could not be bought, broken, or redirected. You are a celestial warrior wearing human skin, and your greatest weapon was never your words or your talent. It was your willingness to remain honest when dishonesty would have been so much easier. Your mission is not to be famous. It is not to be validated by the people who once doubted you. Your mission is to anchor something on this earth that is becoming dangerously rare, integrity that does not require an audience, compassion that does not calculate what it gets in return, truth-telling that continues even when truth is unpopular. Every environment you enter is changed by your presence, not because you are loud, but because you carry a frequency that makes deception uncomfortable. You were sent here to make honesty feel possible again for people who had stopped believing it existed. Because of the decree that was released over your life, the material world is beginning to reorganize itself around your true identity. Doors that were closed by false narratives are beginning to open. People who once questioned you are beginning to see clearly. Opportunities that seemed permanently lost are being rerouted back through different pathways. Resources, connections, and recognition are aligning, not because you chase them, but because integrity eventually creates a gravitational pull that cannot be resisted. The restoration of your reputation is not just spiritual, it is practical, visible, and arriving in ways that will make even your most skeptical observers take notice. As your life begins to visibly shift, something else happens quietly around you. People in your orbit start waking up. They see how you handled what you handled. They watch how you kept your character when circumstances gave you every reason to abandon it. And something stirs in them, a memory of who they were supposed to be before the world convinced them otherwise. You do not have to teach them or preach to them. Your existence alone becomes a reminder. That is the ripple. One restored soul does not just heal itself. It sends a frequency outward that begins unlocking others who are waiting for proof that integrity is still worth choosing. You are not alone in this. Across this world right now, thousands of souls are experiencing the same activation. People who were misunderstood, overlooked, and falsely defined, who chose to keep building in silence anyway. They are in different countries, different languages, different circumstances, but they carry the same frequency you carry. A global network of restored souls is coming online, and the combined force of their integrity is shifting the spiritual atmosphere of entire regions. You are one node in a network far larger than you currently realize. When you fully step into who you are, you connect to all of them, and the signal gets stronger. If something in these words landed in your chest rather than just your ears, that was not coincidence. That was confirmation. You were meant to find this today. Do not scroll past this moment as though it was ordinary content, because it was not made for ordinary people. It was made for you specifically. Drop 777 in the comments right now as your declaration that you receive this restoration. Share this with someone whose name deserves to be defended, whose character has been questioned, whose season of vindication is overdue. Subscribe so that when the next message is released, it finds you immediately, because what is coming next is even Greater than this.